it is unbelievable in this era of George Floyd, where people are demonstrating for weeks now. We've had months of demonstrations. We're getting ready to have the big National March Friday in Washington with George Floyd's family and others. And for a policeman in the middle of that to think he could shoot somebody in the back 7 times is the only answer to this is you must have strict federal laws. I spoke last night to the young man's father, who ironically he said his grandfather, the young man's grandfather, father's father, knew me from being a boy preacher. And he told me that he was paralyzed, his son was paralyzed from the waist down. He doesn't know if it's permanent or not. He's very concerned about his whether he will have permanent injuries. It seems that he's out of the woods from dying, but they don't know anything for sure. And to talk to this man, who's also going to meet with us, he's going to help lead the march on Washington on Friday, because he wants the world to know that there's no justification for this. This young man on tape was running away from the policeman, getting in the car, man holding the end of his t-shirt. Why would you shoot him? There's several different options you had, but to use deadly lethal force on there is the kinds of things that we say must change in this country, and change right away.
I agree. What was the threat? This guy was running away.
No threat. You supposed to only use deadly force in law enforcement under life extenuating circumstances. What was the threat to you or anybody else with a man running away from you and you're holding on to the end of his t-shirt as he's getting in the car? Whatever happened to restraining other ways? Whatever happened to tasers? Anything. But to take out a gun and not only just shoot a warning shot, shoot into him, and 7 shots counted. It is unbelievable. It's unreal.
It's a miracle that he is alive and living right now. So we knock on wood, because obviously if you're going to shoot sometimes, you're shooting to kill. And that's my next question is like why? Do you think it's just because he's a black guy, they're just targeting him?
Well, I certainly don't think that they would have been shooting like that in a white neighborhood at a white person. We've had organized crime figures that they go and say in a restaurant, look, we're outside, you're under arrest, finish your meal, we'll be right outside. They don't go into shooting them in the back. It's amazing to me that this happened. And you are right, it is a miracle. His father said that, and we're praying for them, but we're going to pray without feet. We're going to keep marching, and we're going to force legislation, and this family, the Blake family, will be with us.
So you're meeting with Jacob's dad?
Yes. Jacob's dad is coming to Washington, D.C. to join George Floyd's family, Breonna Taylor's family, Ahmaud Arbery's family, Eric Garner's family, all of us, as Martin Luther King III and I lead a march this Friday. It's on the anniversary of his father's march on Washington, and thousands are joining us at Lincoln Memorial, not only to commemorate that day, but to raise the issues of police brutality today with the actual families of the victims.
What is the plan of action? What can we do? Like, what are you actually doing?
The plan must be, we're laying out that those that are running for the Senate must vote for the George Floyd Policing Justice Act that has already passed the House. We think that the climate is right. There are 20 Senate seats up. We need federal legislation. What did they do in the 60s? Led to the Civil Rights Act of 64, Voting Rights Act of 65. With all of this policing, we have had no federal action. This Congress must act, or we must tell people to vote them out.
I agree with you on all that. What would happen if these cops aren't punished?
I think that what happens is we've got to keep going until they are. You never build movements on what happens if you don't win. You fight till you win. We're not going to stop.
I mean, there's protests, there's
but there's
people
protests,
rioting.
but there's voting, there's all kinds of things. What happened in the 60s? There was the boycott in Montgomery in 1955 against segregation, Rosa Parks. They didn't get a Civil Rights Act till 9 years later. They never stopped. We've got to be just as durable and persistent and determined as the police unions are that are supporting these cops.
Like I said, can we even blame people for rioting for the stuff that happens? I mean, how many times has it happened before we need change?
I'm not going to arm Donald Trump with saying that I condone rioting, because I don't. But I think that you must understand the anger but the anger must be channeled to deal with what we're angry about. What I say to a lot of people is, I understand ain't nobody's more angry than me. I've been fighting this stuff for decades, but I want to fight to win, not fight to just vent my emotions.
What needs to be done? What needs to be done? I mean, does every single cop need to have like body cams? What do we need to do?
All of that was done under Obama, the body cam. The only thing that's going to stop this is federal law that police start seeing they will be given perk walks, that they can be sued personally. That's all in this Floyd bill, that they can be sued personally and they would be felons and not only would go to jail, but their families could lose their assets.
Yeah, the cops need to have more on the line. I totally agree with that. You know, it's bigger than them. You have to think that, boy, you're shooting at, is there going to be big repercussions? Is it bigger than myself? And of course, obviously it is.
It's bigger than that, but they have nothing on the line. Right away, the union comes in, no matter what they did, provides them with lawyers, provides them with PR people, provides them with everything, and protects them. And if there's a lawsuit, the city pays. This law changes all of that. That's why they've got to have some skin in the game.
I agree. We need changes. LeBron, a huge advocate, said that the black community is terrified. How do you feel about that?
The black community's got to be terrified. You live in a state of terror when you have to be afraid of the cops and the robbers. Where do you go?
Are you terrified?
I am cautiously terrified and panicked, but I have enough to channel my terror and sense of panic into activism to get results. I let my fear fuel me, not paralyze me.
I hear it. What is your lasting message?
The lasting message is we must accompany demonstration with legislation. There are those that want to go from demonstration to reconciliation. Can't we get along? When can we have peace? You can't have peace till we have justice. I thought y'all heard me a long time now say, no justice, no peace.